Welcome back to the studio where, honestly, today I'm feeling a bit weird, like in my tummy. Like I worked out really hard the other day and I didn't eat before, and then I had too much coffee, and that was just yesterday, and then I had a martini that last night that I didn't really like, so I just feel a bit odd, but you know. Anyways, I'm just saying that to say if I say something weird, that's why. But I'm good. I'm fine. Anyway, so I thought we'd do something a little different today. We're going to use this Brighter J mini palette. I'm really interested in architecture, if you didn't know. Both interior and exterior. I think I want to use this nice ultramarine cobalt, I'm not exactly sure what shade, blue. And I have always, throughout my life, just collected pictures of rooms and things that I really like, and not necessarily with a plan to do anything with them, but not with a plan, if that makes sense. Oop, did I turn my focus on? I did now. And I thought, you know what, today, why don't we Zen Doodle one of those rooms? That could be kind of fun. So this room that we're doing is from a beautiful house I had the pleasure of going to somewhere in the hills. I'm not even really sure where. And it always stuck with me. And so we're going to do the outline of it, kind of just like as a drawing practice exercise. Zen doodles are a great way to practice drawing something too, because even if it doesn't come out how exactly you want it, it doesn't matter because you're going to be Zen doodling it. So I think that kind of removes the pressure of the situation. So I'm just going to kind of get my drawing practice in, and we're doing this nice curved sofa that's in the foreground of our image. And then we'll do the rest of the room. There was a nice little set of pillows over here. I did not keep my book open last night, and so it kind of has these bleeds in because I think it didn't quite dry out. So what we're gonna do is just not let it bother us. Easier said than done, I know, but still. Okay, so then I'm drawing the top of the sofa here. And this is the crevice where your back would be, and then it goes around this way. And I'm trying to keep it kind of as parallel as I can with the top line. So maybe a bit like that. Oh my God, I've got to sneeze. Don't worry, I paused for you because that would not be gentle vibes. Okay, then we're going to kind of show that this sofa is legit. So at an angle, I guess kind of like this. Here's where it curves around again. Oh, that was a bit sharp, but it's okay. Back to those bleeds that are happening. This is what I mean by the bleeds. When I'm feeling a little not ideal, I guess is how I would say it, I quite like doing Zen doodles that are really, really focused on, oops, that could have been a bit higher, couldn't it? On noticing the details of the page. So I think we're going to factor those into our Zen doodling. Sometimes we just kind of could go like this, but I think I'm really gonna do a bit of that. Really descriptive today, aren't I? Because, I don't know, it just slows me down a lot and helps me to feel better. But I'd like to start using all this reference imagery I've been building over time into my body of work, which typically I keep separate from the Zen doodles, but I feel like it'll just, I don't know, maybe I could factor them into here as well. So anyways, we have this nice sofa curved round. Then behind the sofa in this room was a big archway. So I'm gonna do a straight line till about there, which you might think, wow, that's perfectly straight. I do not, but it's as good as we're gonna get. Around like this. And continue. that looks about right, then I'm gonna have less control if I'm going like that, just because of how my arm is. So I'm gonna come see where it would go down to, and then instead go up. I don't know. That feels better for me. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do these, so you can do yours any way you like. If you're doing a paint along today, should have said this ages ago, but why don't you paint your dream room or a room that you loved growing up or something like that. Now this whole wall behind the sofa here leads out to the garden, and it's made up of these beautiful arches. So I'm going to do the next one next to it. And then this will come around. That was a little more square. But we don't, who am I talking about? Me, I don't really draw as much as I would like to, so I'm enjoying that this is a practice of drawing as well as Zen doodling. It's just kind of a bit fun to do something different. So yeah, sorry, my arm's gonna be in the way here for a moment, but we're gonna go like this as best we can, clean this up. I can hear Ryan at the door of the studio wanting to come in. Like, I got him. Okay, so then above these windows were these kind of skylight-esque windows at the top before the roof, or the ceiling, sorry. So I'm gonna draw those in, and they were just kind of these thin, like getting light into the top of the house. It was very high ceilinged, and they're at a tiny bit of an angle. So we're going to portray those. Nice art history word there. Like this. This is one. And then starts kind of at the edge. Like this. And if I didn't mention it before, I'm using a round 2 brush from Princeton. It's linked in my bio. The paper is the Handmade paper journal from Lamali, Paris. Not linked in my bio because I do not have a link for it, but that's what it's called. And we're using Brighter Day Pigments paint. Sorry, my hand's in the way, I know. I'm still not sure how to combat that. One day, let's manifest that this little show will be professionally produced and someone can angle the camera so I'm not always in the way. But until then, this is what we're working with. At least you can say, I watched these before they were professionally produced. And everyone's gonna be like, no way, that's so cool. You'll be like, yep. Anyway, okay, so now this is gonna be a little funny, but there's kind of these pillars like this. So the windows were like kind of back set. So to mimic that on this side, it goes like this. I like architecture because it all kind of has to line up and it just satisfies my brain. And then above here is ceiling. So then we'll do the same on this one, which is a little bit of a different angle. So it's an even smaller area, which we can do no problem. Here we go. Here we go. Just like that. Okay. Very cute. So this is our foreground. We have the sofa in the front. Oh, let's do actually, never mind. I was gonna do a carpet, but we'll Zen doodle it. It'll be enough. Then we have our background of the pool area outside the house. Pretty cool. So there was a kind of terrace roof that goes like this across and brings some shade to the patio outside. So I'm gonna follow this line. We go like here. Just gonna eyeball that. doesn't have to be perfect. And then so there's the wood bar that goes across like this, and I'm going to do it on all 3 sections first before moving on to the next portion, because once my arm has done this, oopsie, kind of a cross motion, I'm in a flow of it, then we'll move on to the beams, which kind of go like this. And then have the angle to the side like this, and then here is another one, which we don't even really see the edge of, or no, we do kind of, do go like that. Then as the angle changes, we see more and more of the side. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well, doesn't really matter. Like that. And then, so it's kind of coming like this. So then we'll do this side, do one here. Comes out like this. And like this. Angles change with each one. Nice. And then we have the pool in the background, which kind of goes like this. Down here. And then on this side, there's a bush right here, firstly of all. So let's get that in. Nice. Oh, and then I should do some here too. Which I have kind of just made up to fit the vibe. Then there's actually the side of the house. So there was this room here, another room here, and then another room here, which we're seeing the edge of. And so maybe this is a little taller. We're going to kind of just draw that in a very simplified way, because there's already a lot going on. And then the pool kind of goes like this. So then let's do the front of the pool. Boop. Now I'm wondering, should I color in the different sections? That could be kind of fun. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, like this. I'm simplifying the drawing, so I'm not drawing every single line. Like, there's actually a crazy wall here, and I don't feel like doing the crazy wall, so we're just gonna do it as is. Anyway, then there's the edge of the pool like this. So this is the tile. Oops. And then this is the water. Have that here as well. And then we also have a kind of plant thing over here. I like how we have some curves and also some sharp lines. It's quite nice. What I think we could do is do the outside one color and then the inside another color, maybe? Or do we want to just do blue? Because remember we did this house, did you watch this one? A few weeks ago, where it was all the same color. It was kind of architectural as well. Maybe because this is the first one, I'll just do one color. Here I am talking to myself again, but I did warn you this might happen today, so buckle on up. Behind the pool is a lot of nice vegetation. So I'm going to draw a tree in here, which would go like this. And then kind of, you can see it through this window. Goes down here again. Doodle-doo. Then we have another one like this. Go like that, I guess. Doesn't go as high, that one. And there's a few of these big kind of bushes, so maybe here's another. I'm just making it up at this point for whatever makes sense aesthetically for our picture. Here there's definitely some trees, so we'll draw a little edge. You see what's going on. Anyways, this is a very simplified version of what we're doing. I still haven't decided if I should do it just blue or not. I think so, and next time, if you are interested, we can try this in multiple colors. I also would love to do like a house with multiple rooms, but you know, one thing at a time. But now we have our structure, and we're going to just very carefully and mindfully make our way around the lines, filling out our paper, and kind of slowing down with each little level, centering ourselves on the day. I like to remind myself, not that my day has gone badly at all, but if you don't feel really how you want to feel in the morning particularly, you don't need to feel like that the whole rest of the day. I kind of like to use the meal times or break times as like a reset moment, so I'm thinking this practice is helping me to reset. I'm gonna have lunch after, crispy chicken with salad if you're wondering, and from there I can choose to reset my mood. So this is kind of bridging me into where I will be resetting my mood. You know what I mean? So we'll just do that again. And it's nice because each row is going to be repetitive, like we're going across and up and down, but it's still different enough that our brains stay interested, but slow and repetitive enough that we're not overstimulated or overwhelmed. And there is an element of predictability, and that our brains kind of know what to expect, and that is soothing for the nervous system. I literally think of my nervous system like another pet. So we have Ryan, we have Parmesan, and we have nervous system. In that I just want it to be happy all the time. Because if they're happy, I'm happy as well. Okay, it's gonna be interesting when we get into these little bits, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're working from the top first, obviously, so that we're not getting I'm not getting my wrist into any wet paint. Now we have quite the bleed here, and we're just gonna go around it. And like this. I also love this shade because it's pretty consistent, the blue, but it's still, there's just lighter or darker areas depending on how much pigment is on the brush. I hope it's in the shot, I'm not sure, but see how I've made a little puddle in my blue, and I'm dipping into that puddle to get paint every time, and then once the puddle dries up, I'll make a new puddle, and that's how I keep the consistency. So I'm gonna peel back my page for a second as I just get up in here. And this, I think, will be our last line of this area, on that side at least. Sorry, I'm definitely slow today. I did have a coffee though. Oh, you know what I did the other day? On Wednesday, this is a Friday, I went to the YouTube office, the LA YouTube office, because my friend works there, and she invited me for lunch because we had something to discuss. And she gave me a tour, and it was so cool. I mean, it's a Google office, and then the YouTube team is there. And I think, anyways, it's actually, I don't know, maybe it is all YouTube. I don't know. I'll find out about that. Whoa, look at these patterns. I just love that. Anyway, it was so fun to see that. That's all I really have to say about it. It was very like, it was kind of exactly how you'd expect a Google office to be. Like there was lots of snacks and drinks and everything at every time you wanted something. It was kind of like around the corner, and we had lunch and they had so many options and the food was so good. I had beef bulgogi, and then I had like a Korean corn salad, and then I had some sushi, and then I had some pizza. And you might say, Lizzie, that's a lot of food. You know what? It was free. So I said, yeah, I will be trying all these things. They were really good. And then there was a banana cream pie for dessert, which I actually forgot to get before it was cleaned up, but that was the dessert that day. And then she gave me a tour around, and then I was getting ready to leave, and I had a bunch of things to do that day, and I'm kind of a one activity a day kind of girl, if you couldn't guess, but I had stuff to do, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a coffee. I'd seen an espresso machine in the games room, and she was like, oh, sure, I'll order you one. I was like, okay. And so anyways, there's a coffee shop in the office, and then everything is free. Like, you just order on your app and you can go pick it up, or you can go order in person. But she said there was sometimes a queue, so because I had called my Waymo, it would be safest to just order. And so she ordered a latte for me, and it was divine, and it was so fun. I was like, damn, my office is not as cool. We are in my office right now, and it's called the second bedroom of my apartment / my studio. Oh my God, I hope my head wasn't just in that. Sometimes that happens. Look at this nice bump here for a moment. We're just gonna go round and round and then continue along. And then I'm gonna go back in here and just kind of space out that bit there. And then we have this really funky random shape. And then we'll pick up and head around like so. Anyway, so yeah, there was a game room, and it had foosball, it had air hockey, it had like chess and all these kind of things. It had spaces where you could just work if you wanted to be in there. It had a candy section with like sour gummy bears and jelly beans and caramel M&Ms, and then a fridge with all kinds of drinks like Olipop. I forget what else, because that's what I was looking at. There was a Harry Potter room, and the rooms have just different themes, and you can rent them out or like reserve them for meetings or calls, just like for a bit of fun. So that was cool. We peeked into the Harry Potter room, and there was a phone room called Phoenix, which obviously I like. So now we've moved on to the wall, which is going to be this oddly shaped kind of section here. And if you are this is one of your first videos of mine you're watching, at this point, or just if you want a reminder, at this point of the drawing, it's completely no longer about the room that we were drawing. That was just kind of our subject matter to create a template for us to Zen Doodle. So we're just kind of using the lines that we had made as a place for our brush to now dance around as we do the rest of the piece. And our intention is just to slow down, I want to say be tangible. I don't think that's the term. Put pen, wow, the brain's really not operating well today. Put brush to paper and just be physically present, I guess. I just saw a reel that Georgie sent me that was this guy talking about how him and his friends sometimes go 90s, and they'll like go to the store or something and just not bring their phones. And you know, when you're a kid, I mean, I don't know how old you are, I'm 31, but when you were a kid and you'd go to like the movie, the Blockbuster, the movie shop, or I don't know, anywhere, and it was just kind of fun and such an adventure. It's because you weren't on your phone all the time. I mean, among other reasons, but it was just like, I don't know, you had to be more involved in what you were doing because there wasn't some other world to escape to. And I feel like we're always nostalgic for those kinds of feelings. At least I am, but that's what I kind of seem to see in people's comments. And I might go 90 soon myself. I think it's way easier said than done when you have someone you can do it with, a friend or a partner, a sibling, or I don't know, like sometimes it's just not safe not to have your phone in this day and age, but I'm talking about in an experience where it would make sense to do that. So look how now we're coming down, and the structure that we've built ourselves is just really a place that we can slowly fill up as we go. What are you doing right now? I would love to know. I know that sometimes people throw these on at work to have something in the background, which I think is lovely. I often like to have something gentle in the background, and I love listening to podcasts and learning things, but sometimes I don't have the brain power to accept new information. It's more just like you just want something there, and if I am your something, honored. Maybe you are winding down for the day, maybe you're painting along, whatever it is, I'd love to know. Do that little section. I'm not going to fill that in because it's too skinny and I don't want to. So with this line, we've divided it into these two kind of T-shaped zones, and this is going to be interesting because we're going to kind of pivot, go down and back around. And because we're going on all of the sides, it's going to shrink that middle space really quickly. I don't know if we'll have more than 2 or 3 lines in here. That could be a little cleaner, don't you think? Yes. So because I know it's going to go like this and I want to optimize my hand position, we're going to start from this side. I have a few things to paint today. One is for a client that I will post about when it's done. It's actually a really, 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 really cute project. I might post about it around the time I post this actually, because that's just the timing. But it's a love thing for a client, and I need to work on that some more after this, and that takes a lot of precision. I'm using very, very tiny pens, a micron 0005, if you know what that is. And if you don't, I may as well just show you. These are microns. I use them all the time. And look how little that pen is. I'm going to do a dot. Tiny. So I need to draw people with that level of detail. And so I'm kind of doing this first part because I like to start the day with these, and also just to like get my hand warmed up, I guess, for how crisp it's going to need to be. So I'm going to work on that after lunch. And then I'm doing some, no one asked, I know, but whatever. Then tonight I'm going to the beach with some friends, and we are watching the sunset and eating sushi. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? That's like my dream date cute. My dream Friday night, so that'll be cute. And then I actually have a surprise party later tonight that I am really, really hoping I will be attending. The reason I say I'm not so sure is because I did a lot of social things this work. Honestly, not even for social pleasure, more for work. It was just freeze week and there's just a lot going on. And so I'm just kind of tired. Like I wouldn't mind just lying down and doing a full recharge. I'm teaching a workshop tomorrow at the One Hotel. It's just a Zen Doodle workshop where we're painting on postcards. Let me show you actually. They're so cute. Where are they? So they're watercolor paper, and then you can put your message in your letter there. And we're doing it for Women's Month, so the idea is you're Zen doodling for And you can send it to a woman in your life, your mom, your sister, your friend, your auntie, just a mentor, with a message of appreciation. And just like a nice little way to slow down, do something on a Saturday that is off your phone. So I want to be sharp for that tomorrow. I know I preach being off your phone a lot. I would just like to clarify, I am on my phone very often. For work, I edit all my videos on my phone and stuff, so that's why I particularly like having off-phone moments, but I just have noticed that people really want off-phone things to do, so I just try and offer a space to do that, because I have the know-how and all the supplies and whatever, so that's my intention with these workshops. If you're in LA, well, it's going to have passed by the time you watch this, but if you're in LA and you want to come to one, just follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I will post about when they are. So we'll get into this little crevice. I'm thinking of hosting one on the East Coast soon. I'm not sure what. I'm going to be in New York in April, so I'm considering doing one then. Let me know if you'd be interested in attending. I don't know if that's of interest. Oop, first cat hair of the painting, very fun. Oops, whoops. Flailing her brush around. Whoa, this is a messy one, but I don't like the edges of the paper, and so because this is in the way, so I'm not going to put pressure on it being as crisp and precise as the rest of the piece, because it's just not going to, so may as well say I told you so than be upset, you know? Okay, anyways, moving swiftly along, we're now going to do this back part of the garden. And I'm doing this before completing the arch because I don't want to go back and have this be wet and smudge, so that's that. If you're wondering, there's no order you have to do. If you're doing one, it is your own piece. And then that I deem too small to go into, but this little triangle we can. Lovely. Now we're going to go over this and this. Oh, there's a cat hair. So it's kitten season over here in LA, which means lots of kittens are being born, which means I will probably foster some kittens soon. Gina, if you're watching, I hope you got your new kitten. How exciting. I foster through Rory to the Rescue, and if I remember, will link their website in this bio. And if I do not remember, just comment and let me know and I will add it. But they are definitely looking for volunteers and fosters as we go into spring, if that's something you're interested in doing. I'll post about my fostering and all that so you can see how it goes and see if you might be interested. And if you're not in LA, there's organizations in every city, town who need help fostering kittens, so I obviously highly recommend doing that. It's very heartwarming. We're now going to work on this little arch panel. We're going to do these bits first. A common question I get about fostering is how on earth are you able to give them up after? Super valid question. It's really hard. I always cry. But I just remember that if I hadn't fostered them, they would have been, the reason they need fosters is because the shelters are overrun, and when they're such babies like that, they need kind of more round-the-clock care than the shelter can provide, so they go to people's homes who can watch them temporarily. And if they weren't able to find a home for them, this is too skinny, we're not going to go through it. They, in California at least, are put down. So I just try and remember that even though there's a sad part that I am not keeping them, at least I help them live, which is pretty major, really. I also have 2 cats already and my nervous system pet. And so I can't really have more than that. I just don't have the capacity, but I can temporarily help out the little kittens when I am not traveling. And I'm not traveling until for a month and a half, so this might be a good time for me to get some. But yeah, it is really hard. But just because something is hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. There's still lots of benefits for me and for the kittens. And for Ryan, because he loves them. Parmesan hates it. Hates. So I don't want them too often because I don't want to freak her out. She's like, I'm the baby. I'm like, yeah, I know, Parmy. That's cool. I like this little pattern we got going there. This is going to be one single line, pretty much, I assume. So let's do that. And then I'm going to crisp up the corners. Like so. And then we'll come down here. Now that we've done, I feel like I'm talking a lot today. Now that we've done a lot of this, I think we'll be able to tell that it's an architectural Zen doodle, but maybe not exactly what it is, which is just kind of fun. It's almost NFT-esque in that it's not always going to exist in the form it originated in, being the drawing of the outline. And so lucky us that we got to see multiple forms of it. Pretty cool. Can't wait. After this, I'm gonna go flop on my couch for about 10 minutes before I go to the store. Can't wait for that flop. I need it. Even though I did get a good sleep last night. I had about a quarter of a martini at dinner. I'm quite picky about martinis, and I didn't love it, but I had a lovely dinner with my friend who's visiting from England. We're friends in high school, and then one of my LA friends, and they met for the first time and they got along great, which was really cute. And we had such a nice little girls chat. Girl dinner, although not girl dinner food-wise. I had steak frite, obviously. But I'm saying all that to say, even though I did that last night, I still managed to get a good sleep. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I don't know why I'm talking so much today, but I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I couldn't sleep for about an hour, which happens to me a lot, but it hasn't happened recently. And so I did the New York Times crossword with red light mode activated on my phone, obviously. And one of the questions was about our clues was about Gasoline Alley in NoHo in New York. And so then I went down a rabbit hole of Googling that and what that meant, and just, I don't know, the history of New York is so interesting to me. How it just has changed so much. And like how we know it is just not how it always was. And I know there's a lot of places like that, but I feel like New York, just specifically, the transformations are so expedited because there's just so much going on at all times, and it's like a hub for new things. And I don't know, it's just so cool that a building from the 1800s is right next to something built last year. And I don't know, I love all that stuff. So I went down a really fun rabbit hole, and then I finally fell asleep. But maybe that's why I'm so tired. I did go to sleep at a good time. I did wake up at a good time, but I was not asleep the whole time between that, so that's probably it. Oh, I can hear a kitten at the door. I'm pretty sure that it's orange. Let's go check on her. Come on. Come on. In or out, bro? Come on, Parmesan. Come on. No, you're meant to. Cats, man. Come on. Parmy, come on. Parmesan, I need to close the door. Come on, Parmesan. Here's some jeans I painted. All right, there we go. Thank you. All right, we're in. She heard me talking about kittens. She was like, hey, don't forget about me. This is a nice little box to fill in. That's quite satisfying. So let's stop talking about my sleep patterns because I don't think that's very interesting. And instead, we can talk about how the brush moves. So we're gonna go kind of along, just undulating around any little curves and things here. And then we'll do the sides and they'll meet. And sometimes they crisp up nicely and other times I like to add the corner back in. Just depends on the angle amongst other things. Nice. I'm trying to keep the white space throughout this painting the same wherever we are on the paper. Obviously some places it's going to be wider than others, like that's just a skinny one because that was already done. But you know. Parmesan having a little tail bath over there. Through here, down the side. Wow, I really am having such nostalgia for going to the movie, what's it called? The movie shop? The video store. In like Sophie shorts with an icy popsicle and a beaded ankle bracelet when I'm like 9. That was a vibe. Obviously with a parent. I miss that feeling. That one's too small, but this one here, we can get all up in. It's kind of gonna fill in, I'm sure. And like this, lovely. Cool. Like you'd never guess that's a pool and bushes and stuff, but it's like, I don't know, I just like having all these different lines at different angles and things. So let's make another little soup in our thing here. Take the cat hair out of the brush. Oh God, did I put the focus on? I think I did. Go as far as we can. So I could probably go further, but the brush would really become light, light, light blue, bruh. So I kind of quit while I'm ahead and then go back and add in, they're happening again, more paint to kind of just maintain the consistency as best as I can. So I often get asked, how do I keep it consistent? I just kind of preeminate when it's going to run out if possible and beat it to it. Oh my God, this cat. And then we'll go around here. Back along here. And around. Has anyone watched Love Story on Hulu? Because I'm obsessed with it. That's all. Are you Parmesan? Come on, little orange cat. Now, this is gonna be a one-liner in the center again, I imagine. So I'm gonna start over here. Up, and then this crisp that up. Oh, I need the very, very tip of my brush. That's quite the bleed, so we're going to wiggle our way around it. And then come from the bottom. And meet up. I'm gonna add a little more pigment in there just so it's smooth. And then kind of do the other side. But because they're so close together in the middle, it's kind of just like one big section as best we can. It's kind of hard to see when you go from above like this. That's good enough. I've seen the comments about my sibilance. Sorry about that. I do not do it on purpose. I don't know what causes that, but I do have the fluffy thing over my microphone to try and reduce it. So if you are someone who that bothers, I am working on it. Anyways, we've now moved on into our final archway. Parmesan is sat at the window looking out over Los Angeles this morning. I really want to get a bird feeder on my balcony because then I feel like birds would. I've been updating my balcony. I put decking out there. I got a nice waterproof beanbag chair. And this is too skinny. We're not going to go through it. And anyways, I think a bird feeder would really be the icing on the cake, and then the cats would have something to look at out the window. I love looking at birds. I think it would just be nice. I realize I do sound like I'm 80 years old. And you know what? I'm not upset about that. Sounds nice. Okay, then this, honestly, maybe we can get a bit in here. And then we have our last. And then this little pizza slice over there. Then we again have a one-liner. Which I will work on the corners of. Then let's get up into here, shall we? Then we have these two. I'm sighing like I've had such a hard day. I'm just tired. I've actually had quite a nice day. But I have lost my train of thought, so never mind. Look at this dark shade meeting the light shade. That's very nice. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, so while you're here, did you see my golf attention span rehab video where it was the Zen Doodle of a golf course? Let me show you actually. Where is it? And then I put in sounds as I annotated it, like of golf swings, of the putt falling in here. I don't play golf, so I don't know the terminology. But I thought it would be kind of cool just to intersperse it with like the actual ASMR sounds. And I thought it was a really cool idea, especially if you like golf. And I kind of want to try that method with other things. I think tennis could be really cool. Basketball could be cool. But if you have an idea of something that could work well with, something that I can kind of paint from above, like the court or the field. I mean, it doesn't have to be a sport, but that's what's coming to my mind. That has noticeable sounds, like with basketball, the swoosh of the hoop and this, what's it called? Squeak of the sneakers, which always reminds me of High School Musical, the start of that song, which I'm not going to sing. But if you have any other ideas of things that could look cool with that method, let me know. I'd like to try doing more videos like that. So now we have this open section where we can really let a pattern develop. I like having the small little sections, like the panels up here. I think is cool how that looks, but it's kind of one line each. I also like having these larger sections where a pattern like this can expand. So this is one of these areas where it is actually expanding inwards, but we can see the progression of or the aura of the previous lines all interacting together, which I find fun. Okay, that's nice. Hey, Parmesan. Oh, not on camera today, she said. Got it, big dog. It's funny when the bleed happens inward, because like this bit here is then not reflected in that because this came after. But then, for example, on this side it will be. It's like, I don't know, just something to note. I guess it's not good or bad. It's just kind of is a visual explanation into how exactly the piece was made. Hello. Hey. Oops, so sorry. Didn't mean to spook you. So then we'll do this nice last little section, and then we'll finish the outside, and we're going to move on to the living room. We have this nice orange dot from the previous one in this book. Wow, I'm really liking this. I'm kind of imagining doing this with different styles of architecture. Like I can imagine the inside of a Gothic church versus a more classic LA Spanish style building versus something kind of like Scandinavian minimalist. And even though they would all come out to, sorry, that was the cat jumping off the table, come out to look like a page full of lines, I can imagine the essence of whatever the architecture style was would kind of be ever present if we were to compare them. So maybe that could be a good little mini series to explore. Let me know if you have suggestions. Parmesan. So we're going to go along this side and up and around our little bush. I'm going to go from here because this is the most corneriest, and I like starting in a corner because it kind of makes the crispest transition, because I'd have to move the brush angle anyway. We've now created a corner for ourselves here, so we'll go ahead and put that in, like this. Okay, then I can't resist this little bit, so I'm gonna get her. All right, now let's move along the couch. Why don't we go closer for this final bit? Like this, and then I'm gonna turn on my focus. What's up, Parmesan? Kind of just swimming past the undulations. Parmesan, why are you so chatty right now? What's up? Oop, got a little too much on my brush. Come down the end. And we'll go around this one. This is going to be interesting, all these little sections of the sofa, how they go along together. Do a little bit in there. Oh, that's cute. I wonder if we'll get that in every section or not. Now we've hit one of the pillows. Oops, a little too much on my brush. There's too much water, you can't control where exactly it goes so well, and if there's not enough water, it's feathery. So it's just about striking the balance, which I cannot teach you through YouTube, but I could teach you if you come to one of my classes. But really my recommendation is just to trial and error it, see what works for you. Cute. I don't want to do the other pillow yet, actually. Let's save that as white for now to contrast our blue sofa that we're building. Be cool to have a blue sofa. I have a bright red, or it's like a burnt orangey red sofa, and I love it. I've had it for so long, since I moved to LA. Well, actually, I got it with my friend who was my roomie, and then she had it in her house for a while, and then I had it in my house again, so it's moved around plenty, but it's always been like within the friendship. And I love it because it's just such a bold color that it will weirdly go with everything. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like having a white couch is just a danger zone if you are someone who's a little bit of a spiller like me. So I love my orange couch, but I say all this to say I could totally imagine myself having a couch this color too. I don't really have the space in my home for more than one sofa at this time, but God willing, I will one day. Okay, so that didn't have the little triangle inside, but that's cool. Oh, this, I think we can go down in there a bit. That's nice. And now let's do this section here. Let me make more of a puddle. It's been kind of drying up quickly recently. Doodle-doo-doo. That's nice. I think that's a good level where I don't want to dive into it. Parmesan has disappeared. Never good. Never good. Oh my God, sorry about that. I totally breathed wrong. What's that on my brush? This is some acrylic paint, by the way. I was painting an abstract the other day. To turn into a puzzle. Really exciting. So I've just sent that off to be photographed. I will post about it when it's ready, obviously. I've been wanting to make puzzles for ages, and for years I've been reaching out to puzzle places like sporadically, just kind of as I've come across them, and everyone's like, that's cool, like we like your art, but nah, or it's like they want some royalty payment situation. I don't know, it just like hasn't worked out. But I'm doing these puzzles with Elm's Puzzle, the hand cut wood ones that I do on live sometimes. If you watch those, they're so, well, they're hand cut wood, and so the pieces are thicker and they're so unbelievably satisfying when you get a piece in. They're all like really cool hand cut shapes. And we're turning it into one of those kinds of puzzles. I love that brand, so I'm super excited to be doing that. Oh, so is Parmesan apparently. What's up, girl? I know she's orange, and it might just be that, but I think like something is up with her. Like her whole life she's been like this. But she'll like, the other day I came home and she was just sitting in a corner staring at the wall, and there wasn't a bug there. She just lost in thought staring at the wall. Like that's not normal, is it? What are you doing down there, little cat? This is kind of funny. It looks like a fist with like one finger pointing out almost. So, oop, a little much. This red looks nice. I haven't used that yet. I just realized that. This is a Brighter Day edit that they did with Anthropology. And I'm not sure if they still sell it, but Brighter Day does these mini palettes, and she will put in whatever color, like you can custom make them, whatever color combos you want, which is so cool. And yeah, this one was like special design for Anthropology, and she sent me one, which is so nice. And I love this color combo. They're like all very rich. Like this, and then I think we could get a bit of a something going on in there. Now that looks naked, so now I want to do here. I think that's, it looks a bit odd, doesn't it? Maybe we'll connect those. Hey, Parmy. That looks better. What do you think? Oh, Doodles. All right. Ooh. Now we're gonna move along here. And down from our pillow. Whoa, I blacked out. I do not remember filling in that pillow. Huh. Whoa, that was my stomach. I had a really nice breakfast this morning. I had my friend Kat has a food Instagram. It's called Coastal Rigatoni, and she has this breakfast she makes that I now make all the time. That's, you put hard-boiled eggs, feta, lots of olive oil, salt, pepper if you're someone who likes pepper. I do not put that in my food, but and cilantro, and you mash, and then you put it on toast, buttered toast, and it is so good. And it's really high protein and fun. And this morning we had smoked salmon on top of it as well because we were feeling fancy, and it's so yummy. So I had that, so I'm plenty full. So why my stomach's already rumbling, I cannot tell you. But I am looking forward to my crispy chicken. All right. Okay, go in here. I'm actually going to pick up some of this paint because there's a lot, and we can go on and do this here, connect them a bit. It's nice. I quite like that. Makes me want to sit on this sofa. Then we will do our second to last section. Yes, Parmesan. She's just staring at me. Whoa, that fits in there really nicely. I might thicken that out a bit on the side. And then we'll drop a little fill in there. Oh. Oh. And then we will do the floor. our last section. So if you, like me, have fallen into a bit of a trance with this process, it's time to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. I have a million bajillion more videos if you don't want to leave the zone. But if it's time for you to leave the zone, thank you so much for joining. I hope that you're feeling calm and recharged. And I will be back next Thursday, or whatever day I post this. I forget if it's Thursday or Wednesday. Whoa, okay, let's have a look at the piece as a whole. Let me move this out the way. My book is stuck. Here we go. So it's cool because we can see the elements that we drew at the start, but I don't know if you would see that so clearly had you just seen this and not the process, compared to some of these other things. Like that's obviously leaves. I loved this one. That's obviously a house, obviously golf, squiggles, big squiggle era for me, squiggles. Anyway, you get it. But I really like how this turned out. I'm definitely going to explore some more rooms. Don't forget to let me know if you like want to see a specific kind of architecture. A Gothic cathedral's for sure going to be pretty cool. And also we're coming to the end of this book. Isn't that crazy? But the new one has arrived. I unboxed it in my supplies and basics video. Unboxed it. I took it out plastic. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. This was really fun and chilled, and I'm going to lay on the sofa for 10 minutes and then go to the shop and then make my crispy chicken and then draw and then shower and get ready and then go to the beach and then maybe go to the surprise party and then have a nice sleep. I hope you have a great day too. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.